Good morning, everybody. What's up? Welcome to another edition of Shred Live. I'm really excited to be hanging out with the man, Jason Frazier, and of course, the infamous. I know everybody's really excited about this because we've got Griffith hanging out with us. The fun part with Chris is you never know what he's going to say, what he's going to do. And as a matter of fact, when we were hanging out with him in our last show at the AIM event, the Mortgage Expert Workshop, he said some things in his video was the most watched of everybody we were talking to. And today we've got a pretty interesting topic. Chris reached out to us. And Chris, I know you've got a lot of things going on, man, from Vetted VA, from everything you've been doing. And I know you're excited to talk about this, especially today when it comes to transaction and using social media. So we're going to get into that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, excited to have the one and only Mr. Chris Griffith. What's up, brother? How are you this morning?
The one and only, and everyone collectively said, thank God, including me. Like, I would not want to run into another me. I don't know, Doc Holliday's my hero, and I continually think about what it would have been to meet him, and I probably would have gotten shot. So thank you all for having me aboard today. Thank you for giving me a chance to visit about this transactional versus relational kind of approach, especially on social media. Your expertise in the field is exactly what I'm looking for to kind of grind against and hopefully come away with some values if we can kind of provoke them out of you. The second thing I want to visit about is the Vetted VA stuff, kind of what that is, what it's looking like, how it's going to work, how it is relational, communal, collaborative, and it's pretty neat, And I didn't want to say complete there. I was getting like almost like a diamond, right? 4 or 5 C's, however many there are. But anyways, so
there's lunch, bro.
So where do you want to start? I'm generally best done in a question-answer format, which my wife said that you got the best performance out of me on social media. She's the most proud I've ever made her, actually, was the last time you questioned me. So question me like that because I like it when she likes me.
Well, Chris, so you reached out on, I think it was when I was going live about getting to the consumer first, on how you wanted to mastermind with Josh and I about this subject about being relationship based as opposed to transaction based on social media in regards to what you saw agents doing wrong, other mortgage professionals doing wrong. So why don't we start there on why you reached out?
Cool. Yeah. So reached out as a trigger because I have a message I like to deliver to a lot of people. There's some friends that have been asking, hey, what are you doing? How is this working? Not that I'm doing anything special. I'm not. And then some professionals saying the same thing. And then I see what they do. And it's just easier usually to get everybody collected. So I kind of targeted it and said, hey, guys, if the shoe fits, right, Sentinel bend, whatever you can do. And from there, the next thing I'll say is if you're watching and listening and you are not a real estate professional, you don't intend to be a real estate consumer, and you're just an entrepreneur or someone else in some business, Sentinel bend, this one's going to fit for you too. There's a transition occurring nationally, in my opinion. There's a change happening. I think in a lot of ways, it's led by millennials. People have always liked people. They've always wanted to do business with people that they like. But the difficulty with that as we expanded was the lack of communication and community. And that kind of happened alongside that. So social media, man, thank God for an opportunity for me to live my life in a way that my daughters will be able to go back and see and appreciate how I reasoned, that my friends and family can look at, hold me accountable, see what I'm up to, what I'm doing. My grandma's on there. She's interested and she helps to guide me, right? It's a way to live in a business world, in a business setting, and bring it all into one so that everyone knows who you are. The reality is, if you know who you are, the very first thing that you're going to know is there's some people that aren't going to like you, and they're not going to like you because of reasons that you can't control. So the thing I wanted to visit about most, the transactional versus relational, has a lot to do with that, living kind of out loud, if you will, and y'all do it better than most.
Living out loud. I kind of like that, Chris. And if you guys are just joining us right now, we have a bunch of people jumping on. Go ahead and comment. I'd love to share your comments. If you've got a question. So today, here's really what we're talking about. I'm going to throw this graphic back up. And a lot of people ask what system we're using. Right now, I'm using Be Live for this. So if you actually comment, if you want your comment to be seen, comment. Like I'll show you this real quick. So Michelle, everybody shout out to Michelle this morning. What's up? Hey, y'all. Good morning, Michelle. Thanks for hanging out with us. But if you got a question for Chris on this topic in particular, as you can see, it's transactional versus relational social strategy. So, Chris, let's dive into that a little bit more because that's kind of an interesting topic. So, transactional versus relational. What is that to you? I mean, it's a big deal. We always talk about relationship.
So
let's hear your thoughts on this.
Here's my take on it. There's only one thing I think I own in this life, guys, and I think it's a relationship. And the relationship exists between two liberty-minded or liberty-filled individuals. That's a relationship. It's communal. It's by choice. It is equally adding value in different ways because it has a different and unique perspective. So my social strategy, when I say relational versus transactional, the thing I see a lot of people doing is they're quick to sell. They're quick to DM. They're quick to, let's put this in a fish. Y'all watch the tuna show out in North Carolina where they're catching the
tuna? Heck yeah, man.
Okay. So you see the guy in the boat, the guy that's the captain, the guy that knows everything, right? We all know the best thing about fishing. If you're a fisherman, what you want to be doing, right?
Yeah, you want to be out
fishing on the pole. But where's the captain? The guy's the most knowledgeable person out there. He's the one literally minding the boat, backing it up, moving it forward with the waves, coaching the crew on where they need to be, not only to land the fish if we get this hook set, but the youngest guy in the boat, usually the guy with the least experience, is the one actually holding the pole. And the captain's saying, nope, not yet. Nope, now. And the captain says when to set the hook. And the problem with I see most people on social media, most people in sales in general, is they're like me fishing. I'm still a boy, guys. Like, you take me out there, come on, I'm setting hooks. Man, I don't ripping lips, right? But that's not the best way to do it on social media, as you've also seen with my strategy. I'm certainly no expert in this. I didn't come here to claim that status. I came here to say I've kicked a lot of coffee tables. Setting hooks too soon is a transactional strategy. Don't do it. Educate people. Create a relationship with them. You can do it on social media. And you know how it works? Just like it works in real life, guys. It's real life. Facebook is real life. So if you think you're popping off stuff that's not in real life, be careful. You are. And people are people. They're out there, and you need to realize that. But relational, right? Growth-based, community-based. Like, I bring you value, you bring me value, right? Reciprocity. Whatever you want to call it, give to get. There's a million different ways people recognize this commodity or this economy that actually exists, though tangibly people have a difficulty saying, there it is, right? Or they have a problem if they say it's there. But that's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about us bringing each other value. And for all of you people in real estate and professionals, and that's including me, well, y'all have to realize too, when I speak, the person, my audience, the guy I'm talking to is the guy I feel like I was about 12 months ago when I first got into it, maybe 18 months ago, when I first started engaging in groups with veterans. And guys, you want to talk about a battlefield to learn social strategy on media. If there are any veterans watching this, respectfully, I tell you, on social media, on Facebook, each of you are capable and equal to every terrorist out there. Guys, y'all, veterans are brutal on social media, and it's great because it keeps you honest and accountable. And it'll also teach you how to build a relationship when you encounter a ridiculous amount of spars.
So you mentioned this, and Jenny Cordova just commented, bring value. How have you found, because you mentioned you've been in all these groups, you participate, but how does Chris Griffith, how do you bring value? Because I know a lot of people are questioning, like,
let's do this. Yeah. I would say that it's always good to listen to my champions, or the people that ultimately I think you need to listen to, and they're the people in my wake. Right now you have Charles Mund, a veteran friend of mine out in Washington, who's just had a pretty big month or so. He can comment as to why if he wants, but Charles, comment some. Yeah, I talk a lot. Thanks, buddy. That's not the value I bring you, and you know it. Y'all in the comment groups here, the peanut gallery, there are plenty of you in here that I see that I bring value to in all different ways. My mom is here. Oh man, she's going to bust this up. But if you look around this group, you'll see loan officers. Nakia Small is on here. Man, Nakia, what is up? Nakia is a gal I met, an incredible mom, such a tough lady in Colorado. That's awesome. And her postings on T-shirts and hoodies, she won my heart when she posted this one time. It said she had this hoodie and it said, "Sorry, I'm late. I didn't want to show up," right? Loved it. But she's so real. We've known each other for 5 years now. Nakia, how many questions have I answered of yours? And she's had a process, right? But I show up for her. And she calls me at the same cell phone number my grandma calls me on from the nursing home. And I give her whatever value she asks for. So how do I give value? My grandpa, my mom's on here, Mimi, the one I'm telling everyone to be mindful of their language because I think that's probably a good thing. And my grandma's watching. Her husband taught me this trick. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about the secret to marriage? I posted in the Brawl community this, but it's called the bobblehead, right? Right? You show up and you ask me for value because you need it. Ask the people that work for me, man. Like, you're not getting on that grenade faster than me. I've got quick twitch and I can fall down fast if I need to cover something. And so that's what I mean. Show up, be there on social media and not just saying, hey, here's what the right market's doing. Hey, I do this. Hey, do you want to buy a house? Hey, I have great rates. Hey, I have the best service. Hey, look at my t-shirt with my brand on it. Say, hey, y'all should follow these guys if you want to get lit about the real estate business because they make it fun, right? Nathan,
thanks so much for sporting the shirt today. You are looking absolutely fantastic. Look at that, bro.
I'm saying you got me the V-neck. You know, my shirt, my beard has ripped too many of those singular round hole T-shirts, and I don't wear them anymore because people think I'm a bum with my accent then. So the V-necks really kind of helped me to keep it clean.
You look a little more professional with that. That's how you roll, huh?
I figured, hey, I better not show up in a Whataburger T-shirt. That shirt gets me pretty lit.
Actually, you might get a lot more attention if you do show up in a Whataburger
T-shirt. Dude, with that.
Fact, when I went to the VA conference in San Antonio the first day, wore my Whataburger shirt.
Oh, jeez.
So I want to get – Chris, when you were just talking about everything that you said is right on. When it comes down to it, when you – let's get into it. Like, this is the reason why we did the live, is to talk about it as a mastermind and not really do like a Q&A of, like an interview, but really just get into it so we can have discussion and engage with the people that are joining us live. But on social media, it's all about creating commonality, right? People like to work with people like themselves, right? So exactly with what you talk about being a vet and everything that you do, that's, your accent, everything else, that appeals to who you want it to appeal to, right? You don't have to create a persona on social media and be fake and try to attract what you think. You got to actually attract people in your tribe that actually want to do business with you. And you do that like we're talking about. You do it by adding value, not by rates this, service this, that. That comes later once they get to know you, like you, and trust you, because it's just, you don't walk into a venue. People treat social media different than it would be in real life. I don't walk up to Josh and just say, hey, Josh, are you looking to buy or sell a house? No, you gotta build awareness of your brand, of who you are. Why should they trust you? Why should they like you? Why should they even do business with you first? And you can't do that if you're constantly doing sales pitches. I've seen this in a lot of Facebook groups where, when people are asking like, well, what's the ROI of this? What's the ROI of that? Look, when you're on social media, you're building awareness. You're building what you're about, right? Everything doesn't need to result in a lead. And if that is your mentality, if that's how you're using social media, is that everything has ROI to it, everything is about lead gen, everything's about that, you are quick to find that your success is not going to be there.
When I came out on this, I said most real estate professionals are poor in their way that they're investing into social media, and I'm still poor in some senses too. When I say poor, I have nothing to do with, and I don't mean they intend to imply anything with their economic status. Like, that's goofy. What I mean is, in my life, the places I would say I've been poor in are those that I've been poorly investing in, right? My marriage, man, it would have had a lot more bumps when I wasn't investing in it richly, when I wasn't actually investing in it heavily like I knew it was going to yield dividends, right? My faith, drop the F word, but my faith, same story. My children, their education, their personhood, their character, developing those things. My dogs, right? If I'm getting poor performance out of something, I guarantee you it's because I'm investing in it poorly. And that may be because I have the wrong goals. It may be because I don't know how to invest into it properly yet. And it may be because I'm learning and making mistakes. And all of those things are fine. Like, recognize them. I went through way more failures than most, and I still go through failures, and I'm not even successful. So, but these are just my opinions. The only thing that is working is, and that has been working for a long time in these communities, I showed up and I invested into them richly. And the one thing that all of the people will tell you is, don't come in and say, hey, use me for my services. And most of the time I'm referring them somewhere else after I've deconflicted their problem, right? But I invest into it richly and I give value to it richly. And you create relationships, real rich relationships that come back to you. And so when I say things and I hear you say things like Facebook is the best CRM, yeah, because it finds you everywhere. Sometimes on the toilet at 5:30 in the morning, you know?
Chris, sometimes you share a little bit more but I like it, but you're real. That's just it. And everybody watching, I mean, we had so many people jumping on and commenting and being part of it. And again, if you're just joining us live right now, make sure you comment #live or #shred for live. And if you're joining us on the replay, #hustle. And so Chris, this relationship game though, it sounds so cliche. It sounds everybody talking about relationship. When it comes down to it, I don't know if you saw a little shout out. We shouted out to Grandma Griffith. I don't know if that's who it is.
Geronda Hicks, Mimi.
Oh, well, we said Grandma Griffith, but it is what it is. Too. But it is relationship driven. But I want to talk about this side of it for a second, because I want to talk about how you work with your referral party, real estate agents, consumer, absolutely. But your realtors that you work with, these people who are sending you these referrals, because you do a lot of business, what does that relationship look like?
I'll tell you what it looks like. For the first 6 years, it looked incredibly selfish. Though I invested into it, I had great service, great rates, an amazing team that carried my sorry bottom for a long time, right? All of the building blocks that they really want and need, I was a dartboard. Here. And though I tried hard and I worked hard with other programs and other lead strategies together, and not in a dumb Zillow problematic kind of co-marketing, just pay to play kind of a gig, but a true, hey, let's create relationships, doing lunch and learns, mix and mingles, taking people to a Willie Nelson concert. I took a bunch of people to a Willie Nelson concert and out Fiddlers on the Green, but I would invest into ways to create relationships. And it was just difficult to create enough relationships that ultimately there was a measurable ROI, because at the end of the day, I am a capitalist. I do recognize that the biggest shame about something usually is if there's no profit in it, because that thing's not going to develop and grow like it might be cool to see, right? And so I think that that's probably a good thing. I don't have a problem with that profit motive, and there has to be measurable ROI to investing. So for my real estate agents, what I've done now and what we do now is, one, my organics are pretty decent, because at this point I have enough time, distance, and direction on my one thing, who Christopher Griffith is and what he's about. And that's good, bad, ugly, right, wrong, and different. Like, I'm okay to be wrong, and I'll admit it if you call me out about it. But they trust that now. And so when they trust it, I have enough organic, I would say, business, not to demean them, because they're all friends and family. Like, I've done loans for 2 sisters, a sister-in-law, a mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, true story, I carried that lady through a tornado on my back, guys. That's anyway. Jeez. But now, so what I'm trying to say is, those are the people that find me regularly, the same people that I had social media for when I was in the military, because I was so far removed, but I wanted to be in community with them in some way. And social media, Facebook, found me where I was at. They provided that opportunity to have community, and that's what was created. So in marketing strategy now, what we use and what we deploy are different types of relational seeds, right? The plowing. Relationships have a process. And if you aren't about the plowing, if you aren't about the chopping wood, then do me a favor. Go work for a brokerage that is, because it's a lot better. It's better for the consumer. It's better for you. Because if you're not okay with the plowing and the chopping wood part, then you're not going to be very good with the other part, because that's the truth of the matter. It took probably 12 months, time, distance, and direction, 12 months of, unfortunately, me taking lashing after lashing from my wife, saying, don't be you that much. They don't need that much, right? Like, keep some, right? And God bless that lady. But that's what it took before they learned to trust me. And once that happened, you can apply that same plowing, seeding, watering, picking roots, and that's correcting the incorrect things and trying to do it in a way that's not harmful, but value ridden, so that there's a literal book written there in that thread that people can go back to and look at and get value from whenever they want, which becomes another, by the way, organic content delivery method for y'all, because those things are searched in groups. But if you've got to go through that process. And so now we create different lead point conversations with consumers without contractual obligations, with automation that's personable, that's original, that's this. So because I know for some reason that resonates with people, right? To start conversations so that we can do it en masse, but it's genuine. Further than that, it's all in how you mind a relationship as far as what you're going to get out of it. You can take the best field on earth, not plow it properly, not seed it properly, not fertilize it properly, and not pick the weeds, and your crop's probably not going to be that great. So in the end, it's your process that determines the output more so than your starting point. In my opinion, most people in real estate are too concerned with where they're going to go. So most people don't want to go there with them, right? You got to start at them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those things that you mentioned are key. The most important is being personable and having a custom message, because as a consumer, everyone's getting the cookie cutter crap, right? From not just our industry, but a lot of industries. And so if you want to stand out, you need to speak to what concerns them, what interests them, what their before state is, and where they're trying to get to, what their goals are. Those are the subject lines and emails that get read. Those are the Facebook Lives that get watched. Those are the targeted ads that get looked at. Those are the things that relate to them. We've got to understand that in the world that we're living in right now, right or wrong, whether you like it or don't like it, is that we're all the warm little center of our digital lives, right? We're all to some point or another accidental narcissists, right? Like that's just the way it is. Now, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Not that narcissism is ever related to a good thing, but the reason why that's important from a consumer standpoint is they don't care about what you like when it comes down to it, right? When they're in their decision process, right? It's like my family, I'm relocating. I just got laid off and now I'm finding a new job. I got to move to a new city. My kids are leaving the house, right? I'm moving down to Florida, whatever that is. That is what's most important to them at that time. And that's what you got to speak to.
Absolutely.
No, you're absolutely right. Oh,
I want to jump into this. And guys, if you have questions, we have, again, I keep saying this, we have a ton of people watching live. We've had a few comments. If you have any questions for Chris when it comes to the topic that we're talking about is social strategy, I want to jump into this just a little bit, Chris. So I'm going to show this graphic. Social strategy, how long, because you've been in the mortgage industry for a long time, but we're talking about social strategy in particular. And we've watched you over the last few months, and we've just seen your brand continue to absolutely take off. But how long has it taken? Like, realistically, how long does it take? Because I guarantee there's so many people watching right now, like, oh man, like it just takes too long. How long is it?
Let me ask you.
Go.
What's my brand, Josh? You know me. What's my brand?
You know what, Chris, and what I appreciate about you most is your brand is not only is it Chris Griffith, but it's about veterans. You're a veteran. You serve veterans. That's your brand. That's personally what I see you serving. Everything, but. Go ahead.
What I'll say with that is you're spot on. My brand's always been me. I'm like the problem most people have is that they take themselves with themselves wherever they go. I just accepted who I was. I learned to play my slice, right? I know who I am, unfortunately, better than y'all. And I hear sirs and I hear people holding me up as a veteran expert or some other to-do that I'm not. And I tell everybody I'm a nobody from Nobodiesville because, guys, it's the truth. I've just kicked a lot of coffee tables. The thing that people appreciate or think about me the most is, one, I love on them. And that's something we say in the South. I love on them. It means, like, God, man, like, come over. I'll feed you some brisket, some tea. They like me because I am who I am. And they get a good sense of that because I live out loud. I fly my freak flag high. I'm not afraid to really be who I am because at this point in my life, I feel like I'm well-reasoned and valuable enough to present myself in all the colors in a way that provides value.
So, Chris, let me ask you this, because you said something that I think people are like, fly your freak flag. Like, number one, I don't want to do that. Have you ever in your entire career, especially as you've grown your social presence, have you ever had one of your borrowers say, Chris, you are just you're too out there for me, man. Like, you're too over the top. Have you ever once had a borrower say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a lot of different, I would say that message has been given to me in a lot of different manners. My favorite manner that it was given to me was at a closing. And it was a closing for, I think, about a $900,000, almost $1 million purchase in Colorado. And I show up in a jacket. You know, I got oily stuff in the beard. It looks pretty. And the listing agent, about halfway through the closing, looked at me and she said, excuse me, young man, do you ever find that your beard causes you to have difficulty working with some type of people? And she smiled real candidly. And I looked at her and smiled back and I said, yeah, some. No one spoke for 2 minutes and the signing went on. And all I would say to that is, like, if something to do with my book cover is off-putting so much, or if something when they get into the first chapter they don't like, I get that. And not everyone's going to like me. I'm a lot, first of all. Like, ask my mom, ask my family. Like, the problem is when you start leaning into being yourself and who you are, like, that happens, and that's a scary thing. So you better have reasoned who you are before you're okay with leaning into it really hard, especially publicly, because you have the same difficulty with that as you do in your real life, right? Like, it takes me some time to correct the relational mishaps that I have in my family, whether it's with my mom or my wife or my dog or my whoever, right? My clients. Like, I've wronged clients. I've made mistakes. I've not known things. I've made mistakes more than once that I didn't ever think I would make more than once. Like, everyone does that. That doesn't, me being needy isn't a problem. Me being unwilling to recognize that I'm needy, provide for those problems, play my slice, and lastly, me not being willing to take responsibility for those things. Because if I take responsibility, keep in mind, then I'm in charge of fixing it. I get to control the process moving forward. And that's something that people need to know, and they need to take that responsibility.
So one thing that I think, going back to what you just said, Chris, is important. I love the analogy of playing your slice, right? Because I have to do that quite a bit, in real life. So when it comes down to that, everyone that you just heard, like with Chris's brand, and one that I haven't known Chris as long as Josh has, and from the content that I've seen that Chris has put out there, I know it's all about veterans, helping them get the best service and to help them in their life, not just get them in goals of with their their mortgage process, but with their lives in general. That's what I take from watching Chris's content. But I want to ask everyone out there that's relying on these systems and these email communications and these targeted ads and everything else, is just understand everything that you just heard from Chris. Do you think that Chris could have outsourced that brand for someone else and relay exactly that same message to get that same feeling and emotion that a consumer or an agent has by watching Chris? Absolutely not. You're crazy if you think. You can't outsource your brand and your passion, your drive, what makes you do what you do every single day. And guess what? You also can't learn to be authentic. There's no class for that. You can't go to college for that. You either are authentic or not. And that's one thing that it's definitely been just an overused buzzword about, hey, this is the era of authenticity. It's like, be real, right or wrong, right? Not everyone likes what we do, right? Like, someone, Chris talked about his freak flag being high, right? Like, not everyone likes what my content or what I do, or Josh or Chris, but that's okay. You're going to attract who you want to attract, but that's authentically you. Right? You have other people putting personas, I'm doing that, but then when they get into their real life and you meet them, they're totally different. I've had that at conferences, and they've told me, like, oh, well, when I'm on social media, I do a little different. So that's not being authentic. Be you, because guess what? I will tell you the number one secret when it comes to doing any type of social media advertising, content, whatever. Consumers identify with imperfection because we all live an imperfect life. And if you're trying to put on an air like, all this is great, not everyone's coming out of private jets or limos and everything else, right? You have an imperfect life. People are going to identify with that. And if you understand and you tell me that this is a relationship business, then don't automate your brand. Don't automate your passion, your drive, your authenticity. That has to come through you.
You're absolutely right. And that quote, fly your freak flag high. My sisters, I've got a wife, 3 daughters. I'm surrounded by a company of powerful women. Like, the movies I get to watch are not the movies y'all get to probably watch. I've not seen one guy get blown up or Sylvester Stallone come in and like, let me talk to your throat in years. But that quote is from a movie called The Family Stone. It's a pretty cool movie for a lot of different reasons. I get value from everything. But that movie was really cool. Luke Wilson was talking to, I forget the lady's name, Sarah Jessica Parker, and her, whatever their characters were. And he was telling her, look, and this is his brother's soon-to-be fiance. It was a weird movie. But the problem was she was faking who she was, and that was why the relationship with his brother was failing. And he recognized it because he is a weirdo in the movie, and he doesn't care. He's the weirdo. Everyone loves him exactly for who he is. They find him where he's at, and they love him stronger than the other bonds of love that exist in a lot of the characters of that movie. And that's pretty powerful thing when you notice it, because what he tells to her is, he says, listen, sweetheart, here's your problem. You've got a freak flag. And he does it in his Luke Wilson voice, which I can't do. He's like, you've got a freak flag. The problem is you're just not flying it, right? And so all he's trying to tell her is, you're different. Be different. So I tell my daughters every day, and this is somewhat disputed. But I do agree with this. I tell them every morning, listen, guys, value comes from scarcity. You are created incredibly uniquely. Your perspective will never be recreated in any other instance, thing, process on the face of this earth. And that sort of value is incredibly unique. And that's what we're getting at. And that's what I'm trying to get at when I say fly your freak flag, is be who you are. It's unique. Your experiences, exposures, educations have all created, y'all's moving around is really kind of messing me up here, but whatever. But they've created a very incredibly unique thing, and there's value in being unique. So be unique, be yourself, be real, talk about the things that really matter to you. People tell me all the time, well, probably don't talk about your faith because that can be off-putting to some people. And respectfully, I say, well, listen, if I can't bring my faith, then I'm not coming.
Which again, it's to each their own. And I think right now, especially in the industry, you have to have respect and you have to be willing to accept everybody, whether it's faith, whether you have a different view of how you want to do business. Everybody's different, and everybody has a consumer out there who's going to feel the exact same way. So be you. Like, I think that's the biggest thing with social media. It sounds cliche, but it's really not. You look at so many people who have built, like Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Lewis Howes, like some of these huge names who have built these incredible followings. You think Gary Vaynerchuk cares when he drops an F-bomb? Like, he's just him. Chris Griffith, do you think he cares that some people think he's a redneck son of a gun from the South?
It's
Nope.
true.
I'm just kidding, bro. I love you.
It's true. No, it's totally true.
But, and like Jason was saying too, you just have to understand. I think the biggest thing and the biggest problem we're seeing with social media, especially in the mortgage and real estate community, is people are trying to fake it as well. They're trying to be somebody who they're really not.
Yeah.
And
it's okay though, because listen, fake it till you make it's an okay thing, guys. Pursue it. And I know you don't want to fake it outside of who you are. And I know that's not what you meant, but if you just got to go through the motions, sorry.
So I'm gonna disagree with you, which again, that's what I like. I don't think you fake it till you make it. I think you just keep doing it till you make it. You don't have to fake something. Now in regards to what you're saying, faking it, if you're not comfortable with it, you have to fake that. I think that's where you really is you have to get uncomfortable. I don't like the word fake. I like uncomfortable. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable, and then you'll get better and better and better. The word fake it till you, like, I just hear that, fake it till you make it. I'm like, don't be fake.
Your words were better. We're at 100% agreement here. Thank you for clarifying my difficulties.
If you guys have ever seen the movie Boiler Room and Ben Affleck's speech, his term for fake it till you make it is act as if.
Yes.
So I like that better, right? Act as if you've done 100 deals. Act as if you're closing clients left and right. There's no problem with that because that's confidence. There's nothing wrong with doing it. It's the fake stuff that's saying like, I'm this way. And then when you meet that person, it's totally different. And we've seen that. Again, we see it all the time, not trying to call anyone out, but we see it. We look at him. I see some stuff and I'm like, man, that dude's an absolute D-bag, right? But he may not. He may be like the best guy ever, and that's a problem, right? Because I've seen that, and then when I meet that person in the real life, I love that dude. But that's not how he's living his life on social media, and that's a problem because I think now, everyone needs to understand where we are at right now with social media. It's different than when it was 10 years ago. Everyone was trying to find their place. Everyone was listening to the so-called experts that they need to do X, Y, Z, play to the algorithm, do this, do that. What I'm seeing happening right now, and I'm doing this kind of almost as testing for my content, but as I'm seeing now is people are just like, you know what, I'm going to post when I want to post. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. I'm going to be real. And we're seeing a shift of attention to those people because look, we're tired of seeing the same talking heads talking about X, Y, Z. It's not relevant anymore, right? We are going to become a more centralized society using social media. Social media eventually is just going to be media. We're not going to refer to it, like that anymore. And there's going to be other channels.
Let's take it more abstract than that, because here's the reality. Way back when, then they were using like alabaster and like hammers and stones to communicate. People still told stories and passed on knowledge and wisdom, preferably from human to human. That's a thing. You know why it's different now is because technology has given us an opportunity to connect as humans, as individuals, as real people in a manner that's honest and true. It's different. It's weird. It's right. But it still exists in that way. And people want to do the same things that people have always done. And that's interact with a real person, not a press two if you need. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, Zero. Like I'm always doing.
Yeah.
If you have a zero to talk to a person button, get out of everything.
Yep.
But that's the way it's preferred. And social media gives you that opportunity, and it gives you that unique point of connection with everybody. So I'm big on one thing. I always like to provide a with 'em or what's in it for me statement, or a bluff, a bottom line up front statement. Only I'm different. I like flipping things over. So here, if you want the free nugget of value, the people that I really wanted to show up to this, the people that are expending capital right now to create relational opportunities, and they are approaching it as a transactional opportunity, here is the nuggets. Okay? You made it. Now you get the piece, and I'll keep it very short. Sorry.
Oh, no, I said here's the nugget. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was hearing the music. I'm like, oh, crap, there's music. Josh said this.
It's like when you're giving your speech on stage. Here you go. Wrap it up. Come on. Grammys are done, bro.
We have someone offside that's about to give you the hook. So
yeah, no, you don't need to, because I think everybody, we've been on here for, I told you, we said we'll go 20 minutes. We almost been 45 minutes here. So I'm excited to hear your nugget. Let's hear it, Chris.
When you get a lead, if you are willing to say this is a crap lead, then I would submit to you, you're just very not good at very much. It's not a crap lead. There's no person that's a crap lead. Okay? A person is an individual that has a desire to do something. And for some reason, you were given a connection to them, regardless of the cost of that. My cost per connections are exceptionally low because they're specifically targeted, and we're looking to spark certain conversations, because I'm not looking to set a hook. I'm looking to start a conversation where we can provide value for what they're pursuing. So if you say it's a crap lead, it's your fault, okay? Because every person's desire isn't crap. Whether or not you can help them achieve it with time, distance, and direction, that's on you. You alone own that, and you own it until you put it down and you don't own it anymore. And as long as you're willing to own that every day, Nakia Smalls, that lady calls me in the middle of this broadcast, I would answer it, because especially after talking about her, right? But you stay there. Don't move. Plant your feet. Provide value. When you get a lead connection in whatever lead thing you're doing, it doesn't matter whether it's Facebook or Instagram or referral. Treat every single lead when you talk to it as if you're standing on hallowed ground, and you're given an opportunity to provide value to someone who likely desperately needs it, especially if you're selling something of value. And if you're not, then maybe relational's not the way to do it for you. I don't know. Maybe I pay to play. But approach every person the same. There's no such thing as a crappy lead. There's only such thing as a crappy nurturer, right? Homeless kids, you know what the number one commonality to homelessness is? Crap parents. I've seen it. It's not even close. And everyone, and myself included, they think it's different reasons. It's not. It's a crap nurturer. Each of us are individuals. Each idea, each thought, each hope, each goal needs nurturing. And it needs love, value, presence, time, distance, and direction. And I'm beating this horse because, agents, please hear me. If you're working with me on lead strategy, I've talked to these people. The first thing you tell me is, oh, these are incredibly warm conversations. The next thing you start saying is, well, they're not ready to do anything right this second. Well, yeah. Or that I told you in the beginning, this is a relational game. And guys, social media, if you're going to be on here, it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly effective. It's incredibly efficient, ROI ridden. As long as you're willing to do some plowing first, because that's the nature of it. You're asking to get to a lead before they've developed trust for the thing that attracts them. It's a bug light. You're asking to turn the bug away from the bug light. Well, they have a big bug light and you're a little glow bug flying around. So figure it out. If you want to get to the lead sooner, be willing to plow more, be willing to chop more wood, as Casa puts it. I love that guy, Dad, as I call him. Be willing to do the hard work of the relational building, because relational building isn't easy. I've never turned my back on one relationship. I pursue every single one that I offend, which is incredibly distracting because I offend too many, and I'm trying to do less of that. But that's what we all need to be doing. We need to be taking that up daily and wearing it, and be mindful and approach every opportunity for a relationship as if we're standing on hallowed ground and we're given the opportunity to influence the rest of their life. Because for me, I know that's what I'm being given, and I know what I'm going to do with it, even if I'm tired, even if it's late, even if I've got something else going on, even if I'm watching my kids and I need to pretend I've got to run to the bathroom so I can send a quick text message and say, I'm sorry, let me put Amy in contact or Jared or somebody in contact with you. Do the right thing. Be mindful of the relationship the same way you would the closest relationships you have.
Yeah, and I want to take that a step further is for those of you that are watching that are like, okay, yeah, maybe whatever, that or maybe more like tactical and think about, like the bigger picture. Think about this, everything that Chris just said. If he helps people, if they're not ready now, do you think that's going to make an impact? Yes, because other people are just going to be like, oh, I'm going to throw you on a impersonal drip for the next 12 months or whatever. No, it's going to be a little different. And the reason and where I'm going with this is everyone that you meet in your life, everyone that you talk to is a potential lead. Doesn't mean you need to treat them as instant ROI, but everyone is an influencer. Everyone has a sphere of influence where people talk to them for advice. People ask them what they think. And if you can't help that person and you make an impact, guess what? Maybe their sister or their cousin or their best friend is in the market. Say, hey, I just talked to Chris. I'm not ready to go yet, but the guy seemed like a really nice guy. Let me put you in contact with him. Everyone's an influencer. If you treat it like that and not treat everyone as an instant dollar sign, you will find you will create a good book of business and a great sphere that's going to go through the roller coaster of production, seasonality, everything that we deal with in this industry.
You know what my family members do if they're in a business that I enjoy a value from? Like, here's a good one. My sister owns a restaurant called Hobo Joe's in Madill, Oklahoma. Incredibly good food. If you're around there, check it out. I did my tornado siren video from there. But they're putting another location into Denison. When I go there to eat, I can't be fast enough with a card. I can't tell any of your employees to do anything. I can't stop her from giving me the value that she wants to give me.
Yep.
Right? My dad, if he comes over to help me with something, he's a framer, he's a home builder. Same thing, right? Like, the people closest to me deliver their value to me in some way, shape, or form in a way that's going to be okay for me, regardless of what it is, consistently. That's all you got to do. You got to treat people like that. You got to bring them in close. You got to love on them, as we say in the South, and you got to open up to do that, because you don't want to be one of those persons, like, God bless my wife, that does like the one arm butt out hug, like that says, bring them in, wrap them up, answer the questions, bring them value, show up. Dude, that's it. That's simple.
I was gonna say, it really is that simple, and that's why it's cool to see your success and continue to see what you continue to achieve, Chris, is because it is the simple. It's these building blocks, it's these fundamentals that you built your foundation on. And sounds like one of us is getting a call, but you've done this so well, and that's why we wanted to talk with you today. We know we're gonna be talking to you more, but want to thank you for coming on, for everything you shared with us today. Like I said, it was a really cool topic. I know this is something you're passionate about. I know you've got a lot of things coming with Vetted VA that you just launched, your service to the military and all you do there, service yourself. Thank you so very much. It's been a lot of fun, dude. So thanks so much for showing up today and providing some incredible value to everybody who showed up today.
Thank you for the opportunity to visit with y'all, to have a discussion, an open conversation that's not based on anything other than a mutual desire to move forward together. I think that that's more important than anything. And no matter my stance on an issue, if you come at me and say, hey, I think we need to move forward together in some way here, I'll listen. Thank you for the opportunity to visit and give another couple people that probably didn't like me, hopefully a chance to maybe change their mind, because eventually they will. And that's what it's really going to bug them.
Yep, absolutely.
And one thing is, don't let this, like, this is just a live, conversation between us three and everyone that tuned in. Like, keep the conversation going. Like, share this video out to someone else. Have that conversation between you and yourself, or have this spark an idea in your head and talk to an agent, talk to a loan officer, talk to them how you could partner and actually help each other do this type of stuff. Like, this is the new age of marketing on social media. You need to be authentic. You need to be passionate and have some drive, and don't be afraid to throw yourself out there, because that's going to create commonality. So, going back to, when Chris reached out, like, that's what's important, is to have an honest discussion about this stuff, because the foundation of Shred is to help everyone get to where they want to go. But
show up, hustle, repeat every day.
Absolutely. Be the best that you want to be. You decided to do this job, whether you're an agent or a loan officer. There is no 0 point to not try to be the best at it.
Absolutely. Chris, we love you. We appreciate you, brother. Look forward to seeing all that you continue to bring throughout the industry. So thanks, brother. We'll look forward to talking with you again soon. Again, from here, from Shred, guys, as Chris said it so eloquently, show up, hustle, repeat every day. See you guys soon.